Hello everyone. So today I want to talk about a couple gifts I've been given recently, not physical gifts, not material gifts, but gifts I've been given unknowingly by a couple people that have really been nice and helped out my mental health for the holidays. So we're going to talk about that, but first I would like to sort of check in with everyone. I know the holidays can be a really rough time, and this year with the pandemic, wow, it's really hard for a lot of people. I know for me, usually I host Christmas in my family, which can be really stressful, getting all the cleaning done and just all the preparations. I want everything to be perfect, of course. But this year I'm not doing that. We're not hosting a holiday because of the pandemic. So that part of it is a little less stressful, but there's still a lot of stress. I don't know about you guys, but I'm still feeling a lot of stress. There's still a whole lot to do. I just finished work for the year. I had to take a couple days off because my daughter was out of school for the whole week, and then my company after Christmas is closed until January 4th. So it sounds nice, but when school, preschool, daycare is also closed, and you're all sort of holed up together trying to find things to do and not go crazy and scream at each other at times, yeah, it can be really tough. And I get that, especially if you have really young children. With my daughter, she's 4. It is a little easier now, but when she was younger, I had a really rough time. So just know you're not alone. We're all going through this to some extent. And if you're not a parent, maybe you live alone or maybe you have roommates. I know it can be really lonely if you're not able to get together with your family. It's really tough, and there are so many people going through the same thing. So please feel free to reach out to me if you need someone to talk to, or leave a message in the comments if you'd like to vent or just talk about what you're going through. Someone's been there. We've all been there. And, I'm struggling too. I know, like, my hair looks curled. I actually haven't washed it for 3 days, and I curled it 3 days ago. And I put on makeup today just to see how it looks on camera, because last time I really didn't put on any makeup. So don't let anything fool you, and don't let social media fool you, most of all, because everyone's just putting out, putting their best foot forward, and behind closed doors, trust me, it's much different. It's not always good, and maybe it's not even good most of the time. We don't know. So just keep that in mind, and I hope you're doing okay. I know I haven't even started wrapping presents. I was just happy to have the presents purchased, and now I'm like, oh, I have to wrap presents. Like, God, why? So anyway, it's been a lot already, but we'll get through it. We'll all get through it together. I also wanted to give just a little update based on my blog last week, the Nightmares Before Christmas post. I wanted to let you know that I am doing much better. It took a while, but I finally adjusted to that higher dose of Seroquel. So I stopped having nightmares. Like, this weekend was the first time I stopped having nightmares, and I started sleeping well, falling asleep easily, staying asleep. It's been amazing. So, yeah, if you were at all worried, please don't worry. My doctor always knows what to do and takes care of me, so I'm very lucky that way. So on to the gifts that I was talking about. Again, these were not gifts given to me like because it's Christmas time, or, I know not everyone celebrates Christmas, of course, but we do in my house. The first gift was a smaller one, and it was from my brother Rob. He actually sent us a picture from Christmas time 2 years ago. So my daughter was, 2 years old, and we were in front of the Advent calendar, which is what we do instead of Elf on a Shelf. I do not have the patience for that. But instead, we do an Advent calendar, and we put candy in it, or, little gifts, like as if the elves in the Advent calendar are watching, and, she's being a good girl. I mean, she's gotten a gift every day this year. I mean, I don't know that she's ever not gotten one, but, it's something fun to do. And in any case, that's what the picture was of, and I saw myself in this picture, and I thought, wow, I look extremely thin, like not in a good way thin. I had on these jeans, which, I still have them, and I can't button them now, of course, but they're those jeans, they're like cheap, they're very thin and stretchy, they kind of like hug every single curve. They're not even real jeans, but in this picture from 2 years ago, I was wearing those jeans, and they were actually baggy on me, which I didn't know was possible. They were kind of loose, and my face just looked very thin, like gaunt almost. I have no idea what I weighed back then. I don't remember being that thin at all, but I was, and it actually made me really thankful and happy with how I am now and how I look now. And I was like, thank you so much, Rob, for sending me this picture, even though he had no idea he was giving me this gift and making me feel good about myself at a time when I had definitely put on a lot of weight and been going through, just feeling sort of badly about myself at times. So that was sort of the small gift, but it was, a really nice gift to give. The second gift is the bigger gift. This happened earlier this month when I had an appointment with my psychiatrist. First of all, my psychiatrist is a wonderful person. He has done so much for me and my life. I mean, truly. I went through, I think, 3 psychiatrists before him, and none even came close to what he did for me in terms of getting me on the right medication and just giving me good advice. He actually does therapy, which is not common with psychiatrists. I mean, it's like a one-stop shop in the best way possible. We were discussing the trigger that happened, and, which, if you don't remember, I read this newspaper article, and I read it on Twitter, which I hate Twitter anyway, but I don't know what I was doing. And the article was about this man who had gone through trauma when he was a child, and I had never been triggered before, ever. And it was, it was really a hard thing to go through, and I had to do the EMDR therapy, which I'll be doing a full post about EMDR very soon. But anyway, so we were just talking about it, and I said, I've never been triggered before. Like, why did this happen? How did this happen to me? And he said, well, I'm not surprised that you have never been triggered in the past. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And he said, well, when I first started seeing him, which was about 13 years ago, he said, he was saying it sort of in a nice way. He was saying, like, you were very functional. Functional was the word he kept using. And I kept thinking, like, functional is a great thing. Like, it's good to be functional, right? But he was like, no, I mean, he didn't mean it that way. He meant you were functional because you were so compartmentalized. You had to put everything that has ever happened sort of in a nice little box and put it away and not access it to be functional, to be able to live your life. I was like, oh, okay. He said, because of that, I don't think you could have been triggered by something because you weren't emotionally available to be triggered. So I said, oh, okay. And he said, now you are so much more integrated, like over the last several years. And he kept saying integrated and putting his hands like this, integrated, integrated. And you don't have all things in little boxes. So the childhood trauma that happened to you is more accessible. And I thought, wow, so you're telling me that I'm healthier now. This is a good thing, right? Like, I'm healthier, and because I'm healthier, I can now be triggered. And he said, yes, that's true. But it is healthier for you. And I said, well, and he also said that because I am more integrated, the EMDR worked really well for you. And it was able to work. And he said, if I had tried EMDR on this childhood trauma, before I'd become integrated, when I was merely functional, he thinks it would have been really difficult for the EMDR to work, or it's possible it may not have worked at all. So I was like, well, what does this mean then? What does this mean? I'm now so much more emotionally available. Does this mean that I am going to start having more memories from my childhood trauma? Which I'm not going to get into what the childhood trauma was, at least not right now, but maybe someday if I feel. But anyway, I asked, like, could other memories come out, be unearthed, because I am now healthier and more integrated? And he said, yes, they could, which is terrifying. But he said I should not try to remember anything more because it will not be beneficial in any way. So I found my reaction to all this overall was good, because no one had laid it out for me. No one had said you used to be a certain way and then you evolved and became healthier and became more integrated. And for him to tell me this was a huge gift. It really was. It was exciting for me to know that I have grown as a person. It was helpful for me, even though I kind of knew all of this, but it just had never been spelled out. And it made me really proud of all the work I've done in therapy and with my psychiatrist over all these years. And it's the reason, I was able to come out publicly on Facebook last year, and it's the reason I started this blog. I mean, being more integrated is a good thing. And I really hope I don't start having more memories of childhood trauma, because I'm very, very thankful that I had so few memories, and it made EMDR work really well. And but I'm not really fearful of that. I'm just wanting to go on and do more things and try to be a mental health advocate as best I can. And, it's therapeutic for me. I get a lot out of it, and I feel like maybe someone else will get something out of it. And that's all I really want in sharing my stories and in talking to everyone. But, those were the gifts I've been given, and sort of right in time for Christmas. And sort of has made 2020 a little better for me. It came at the end of the year, but that's those kind of gifts are really what I cherish and really important to me. And if I could give anyone the gift of my psychiatrist, I would. He's actually based in Washington, D.C. But all you can do, the best thing you can do, is find good help. And if you find a psychiatrist or a therapist who you do not feel connected to or just don't feel like you're growing with, please move on. Find someone else. If you need referrals, I can try to help you. You can email me. I really want to make sure that's emphasized, that good help is hard to find sometimes, but it is so important to your mental health. So, do whatever you can to try to get good help. All right, well, this is Jess with Our Bipolar saying happy holidays and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, whatever holiday you happen to celebrate. I want you to know that you are not alone. Reach out for help if you need it. Okay. Thanks. Bye.